and gentlemen, to the PUBG European League, live from Berlin. I'm Lee Demon Smith, and this is Lauren Pansy Scott, and we are moving on to Sanhok once again. And if you've been keeping your keen eye on the Twitterverse, you will have seen Dyrum's little tweet of all the hot map positions from 550 supersetting games. And it actually gave some quite interesting information, because we've never seen the Western Circle. Apparently the players all told me we've all had it in scrims, so they've all had it in scrims.
They've had it in scrims. I know it's in the Korean leagues have had it a couple of times.
Was it MPL last night? Or
I don't know.
Maybe, I'm not too sure. It's been in the MPL as well, but we've never seen it in the PEL yet. Which is interesting, because obviously G2 have adjusted their drops based on the drops, the circles. So if they'd have stayed where they were, we'll see whether the circle maybe goes back that way. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be just a kick in the teeth to any of the teams that move away
DESPERADO,
from that side, right?
Who normally had started to drop Camp Bravo, decided obviously to drop on the Knights yesterday, and it went Camp Bravo way. Doesn't he look happy? Oh no, Jempty, you got the little fuzz back. No, he's got the little Jempty fuzz back. Is that shave? Is Jempty Fuzz Jempty instead of Fuzzface?
The ultimate PUBG player, is that it?
That's it, he's merging.
Well, I like this Buddha-Man t-shirts. And they weren't feeling so good until that last game. I can't do more Spider-Man references, it just hurts my soul. But Sanhok, I
love this. I wanted to just a note on FaZe there.
Hey, hold on. We're looking at this wonderful Samsung monitor here, curved, beautiful 240 hertz. I'm not getting paid to say that, but give me a monitor and I'll be even nicer about it.
I'll be even nicer.
The things I could say if
But I wanted to say ubah was sat there practicing hard, keeping his aim going, meanwhile the other FaZe guys are all just chilling. He's like, I'm angry. I should have won that game.
Right? To be fair, I always love it, right? There's always these things that people tweet out at events like, oh, this player came in 5 hours early and they've just been doing deathmatch. I'm like,
he just burnt himself out.
Exactly. It's like, as much as that can, like, and it's so player dependent too, right? It's like some players, they need it. I remember when I used to play, this is years ago, I'd always have to do at least 20 minutes, and that was it. That was my little, like, okay, I don't feel absolute garbage today. But I knew players who just sit down and play, and they'd hate to put any other time into it, because in reality, all these players are very good. They all are very good, and I imagine at home they've been grinding anyway. As long as you're warmed up and you're feeling confident enough, you're fine. But, you know, player to player, it does make a difference. If that makes him feel like he's ready to go, and Sanhok's one of those maps where you have to be ready to fight.
He might just be bored.
And yes, it could just be bored.
He just be bored.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have long in the death timer, so he was all right. So it was all good, but the Knights going to be kicking themselves there. I think they're probably a bit aggrieved the fact that they were looking for the battle on the hill, and then they got kind of bodied in the behind by FaZe Clan in that previous game. By the way, that last matchup, that was Liquid's second victory in Phase 3.
How is that real?
I just saw N47. I was like, you realise, you guys, if you get another win, you're going to equal Liquid's wins.
That's mad.
Like, I mean, GamerLegion, 7, DA, they've all got one win along with N47. But yeah, crazy. Meanwhile, Favi, I'm merging FaZe and Na'Vi, have both got 9 wins apiece.
Oof. Well, the thing is, right, in my mind, we're going to Sanhok. It's N47's home turf. This is their ground. Are they going to tie up with Liquid on wins? Is this the one?
Well,
could be.
We'll see. We'll see. N47, I did say this. Ooh, that is a harsh playing path. I mean, Sanhok's small,
you're right.
You can generally boost across anywhere, but that is a pretty tight path. Desperados are going back down to Tambang and Nakam, and they see whether they're going to challenge out, whether the Knights are going to see this. They absolutely will. Last time the Knights dropped everybody but bar one into the same compound as Desperados. Looks like they're going to pull up a little bit short.
And this is, and you've got to look at MBS as well. This is getting map control for complementary positions. And I'm glad he's kind of hovering around this area, because he can then lock off this roadside, and he can ensure that Vard, Miraku, and Gaxy's on his own. He's doing the same, somewhat of a similar thing. You just control the area and you ensure that no one's coming towards your territory. You get your loot time, and then you move on. Look
at DA and G2. DA trying to drop in there, but they've kind of missed out on the fact that G2 all piled in towards the crossroad, and they're going a little further north as well. Braexco and Mert look like they might be going, they're drifting kind of towards each other, and Braexco is thinking not worth it. back away. So teams that are kind of all desperately trying to find themselves a little bit of space. And ooh,
go to cave. Go to cave. Oh, please go to cave. How cool would that be?
Quarry.
Oh, it probably will be quarry, but let me dream. I like quarry.
Maybe. It pulls away on circle 3, remember, from the water,
cave.
as opposed to circle
cave.
4, like before.
Cave.
CrowCrowd split, my word. They've took benefit of the fact nobody's going
the
Camp
map
Bravo.
trying to put the logo somewhere in the middle is just like freaking. It's like, please.
So, I want to be over to the right. So, okay. All right. Nice adjustments from GamerLegion as well to go back over to where G2 kind of gave up the area. And CrowCrowd benefiting from the split. We'll see how it works out for them with the 2-2 because they have been bumping heads with Raise Your Edge and 7 a number of times. FaZe Clan, standard loot path for them. Fuzzface is already at his little crossroads drop. I wonder, though, with this circle, where do they go? ENCE are going to be loving it. This is the first time ENCE might actually do well on Sanhok.
Yeah, I think the one thing... So if you look at this percentage-wise, it's more than likely to end at quarry. This is what we know from the games that have been played thus far. Now, there is a chance it can always move away. It will have certain characteristics, but you can imagine it will be around an area. Now, for Na'Vi, yes, you look at them and you're thinking, right, they're in really good spots. Same for M47. The issue on this map is you're going to get so much attention. Someone like ENCE, for example, though, can play the quieter side, the less likely side, the side that will have very few rotations coming into it, purely being in the southeast. They should do very nicely in this. But again, it's still ENCE. So it's hard to put all your faith in them.
I think the last Sanhok yesterday was probably, I think they got like 3rd or 4th, I want to say. Obviously, they were caught in Camp Bravo, and you can't get out of there, basically. But I think that's possibly their best finish on here so far, because they've always had this problem where they get caught behind N47, Na'Vi, and Reciprocity, this line of scrimmage that they just can't seem to get around. And it's cost them every time. But as I say, with the circle going in their favour. We do see DA and G2 once again tracking one another. Coming down, obviously, DA well aware, and I like DA's play here. This is probably the most aggressive that we've seen DA play on Sanhok. And it's based on this map because they're fighting for their position, and they are pushing out nicely along that road, well aware that G2 have to make the way down.
Just keeping eyes on. Let's have a little look where people go here. This is NIP.
They've got to scout this. Because people are late leaving at the moment.
Yeah, they're okay. Actually, the area in there isn't bad, and this is what I was talking about. You can look and you can feel like you're in safety, but there's so many teams coming over here that will be looking directly into that area. N47, taking the eastern side, has a nice bit of high ground with these compounds overlooking. So BestLodge, yes, he can be picked up, but it is not a safe revive. He might be just left to the wolves at this point.
Yeah, he's done for. They're not even tossing too many nades down, although I don't know how many they've got, to be fair. Ival hasn't managed to find any extended clip either, so bunch of smoke. So, of course, this is all around quarry, so I don't expect M47. Yeah, they're just shuffled further down south. Ival's the most furthest north player. Good return fire onto a doozy there as well. They're in level 1 gear mainly. They can't take these fights.
Now, the one other issue for Na'Vi is that their western side is very easy to be crept up on. You've got quite a bit of dense forestry, nice little bit of rocks. Actually, where Liquid's kind of trailing through, there is that hill that's further north, but that's not the point. It's kind of just south of that. They can run into this and probably get pressure on Na'Vi very comfortably.
Look how congested the eastern road is getting. G2, CrowCrowd, and Raise Your Edge. Raise Your Edge coming over now. They're about to come right next to G2, and CrowCrowd are almost coming parallel with them as well. GamerLegion, we just caught a little bit of vision of them. They're going in the boat all the way around the western edge, round south. Reciprocity have not moved, by the way. They have stayed where they are, and that's going to cause a problem for the Knights and Desperados. Are going to bump into the back of them. Yeah,
Reciprocity will eventually need to move. It's so unlikely to go to that side.
I think the problem is, bear in mind, Reciprocity have camped ENCE.
Yeah.
So many games.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably just a little cautious that ENCE might be getting a bit of sweet revenge, but we can see that they're not.
Yeah. So now Reals might get a couple of shots if the Desperados see it. They definitely do. That's a couple more shots than I thought. They're going to have the old wide turn on that boat, not being too helpful. If the Knights can get that boat in and they actually utilize it to go to like dockside or around that and kind of work in on the slower side, the less populated side, it could be a really good entry point for them.
Nice driving Reals. Smashing into the rocks as he goes. CrowCrowd got past G2. Oh, at least 3 of them did. Uh-oh. Team Liquid not expecting that.
Really nice adjustment from Senya. That's what I want from someone who's regarded as their IGL. Whether or not they kind of somewhat agree to it, they say that everyone has input, but I know he's got quite the overarching voice. Now, this is what I was saying with the run-up here. That dense forestry really allows teams to get very close to these very open hangars. So really good thought, really good kind of presence of mind. Put a player just kind of holding it very passively, not actively peeking out, but just seeing if anyone's running up, so they have that early fight. Now, let's see how N47 fares. The benefit for them, yes, they've taken a bit of damage. They have hard cover to play with. So they don't have to worry too much about those run-ups. And look, they're on that high ground. They get to have that vision over all of this.
Yeah, they're staring down. One thing I would say is they've given up the northern position, but then again, holding a 2-2 is nigh on impossible on this sort of terrain, bearing in mind that a good 25-30% of this circle is in the water.
Oh, Ibby, don't you run out there.
Ibby, that's going to be an underhand bounce off the rim. Is he going to bounce it off the rim? He is going to try and bounce it on the rim. Now he's going to force him around the other side.
Oh.
He's going to try and toss one back in. It's coming back at you, Ibby. Oh no.
Oh, no. How is he alive? I don't know how he's going. We've seen
that's a strong sofa, that's all I can say.
Definitely not from IKEA. Now, GamerLegion out and swimming. Ibby gets the heal off. I'm waiting for the rest of Liquid to help him out. They're not really controlling any of the angles he can get pressured from. Where is the support for Ibby? Surely there's some angle to help him. And they've just left him on an island. I feel as though maybe there could have been a bit of help there coming in from the side that was pushed on.
It has finally come. SIMSY gets Michael down, so he's not going to get completely pushed in, but it was Gustav that finished it. There you go, Nate does the job. And SIMSY, oh, Jempty's down in the background. Senya's caught Jempty off guard. Now SIMSY's the last man standing. Heroes to 0. It's that standard 16th place after a first place win. Oh, that just bodied Iroh. That was some nice spray.
No one's ever doubting how good they are as individuals. That's the one thing we'll say for free. They are damn good. But let's look at TSM's play. They've pushed 2 players up in towards the small kind of hut here, and they've left 1 man back, and I like the fact they've left Michael there. You need that anchor point. There's no way you get away from it. And yeah, it was a bit dangerous then, but it should be recoverable, assuming they can body block the shots to allow him to get into cover.
Yeah, Senya's the one that... Oh, no, it's Vasku. You can see Vasku's the ones that landing the shots.
Oh, that's far away.
That's way the other side of Quarry.
Yep.
That's some pretty impressive shooting. And he's just caught Michael as well on the revive on the hillside. Good Lord. That's coming from, look at that. That's from the other side of Quarry. That's a decent distance.
They should be able to adjust around well enough. There's no pressure coming in behind them, which is really, really lucky for them. If anyone was coming over from like Painan or something, they'd be dead in the water, but they're okay. Speaking of...
How has this happened? So... Wait, I missed this, but I'm assuming 7 took the boat all around the north and they've kind of had an error.
God knows, I actually have no clue.
I think they're a team that Fuzzface said they are the random team of the group.
Random scary, though. It can be a little scary.
It can get you off.
Speaking of Fuzzface and the boys, they're just north of Cave, and actually Reciprocity aren't too far from that. I don't know if Monkey's got vision or maybe Scoom on it. They could maybe get a spot down towards them if they're looking in that direction, which they would be. This band, yes, it probably won't end at Cave, to my sadness, but that sort of band where they are from like ENCE to N47 to FaZe to Na'Vi, that little square is probably very likely a high-value target for these teams.
Cave's definitely going to be in there, though, for a big slice of the next circle.
Yep.
It's definitely a playable area. ENCE and DA very much on top of each other. N47 very proactive, looking for the frags. CrowCrowd been collecting a lot of points over the last 2 games. They'd love to get some more from G2 here. Yannis is just basically living the life of a rock.
Yeah, he needs help. He might be trying to just keep that angle safe to allow Braexco maybe an angle to work with. It's just not pleasant, though, is it? I mean, I like what Braexco and Chris were trying to do, but I don't think it's worth it. If they could disengage from this, they probably should.
GamerLegion have swam out of the danger, and they're working their way up past the docks. So it's working out for them. Looks like the Knights are going to choose. This is their moment to cross. So they're spotted.
Yeah, but Fire could come in from FaZe, or anyone else, obviously. It's Sanhok, right? And they're on a hill. So Fire could come in from just about anywhere. Let's see where this goes. Probably going to go north.
Go on, go south into that little bay. There we go, yeah.
There it is.
Quarry. As expected. Okay. Well, Na'Vi are loving life. Team Liquid are going to be really miffed because they felt they had a good spot, and then rightly so. TSM are actually going to move. That's a greedy 2-2, but it's going to work for them because there's nobody else north.
And I think they've had time, just because no one pushed them when they had knocks, no one pushed them when they're under fire, and DA have pushed out towards CrowCrowd, or maybe CrowCrowd moved south away from G2, and now DA are looking their way. We do see the car. Go on, get a shot going. Go on. It's behind the rock.
He landed the one on Tiikzu, so that's what started things off.
Be brave.
Good damage in between. Quick reactions. Pre-fire on it. Mitraleius does get Misa down as well. So another revive required. No, not going to happen when the nade follows instantly like that. CrowCrowd in a bit of trouble. Answer back as ABeautflDeath will go down. Remember, looks like they're going to lose that one. The mollies just fell short though. Oh,
it sounded weirdly like swampy then when I was walking around. Very weird. Mert on the plate. Maybe looking for that wider swing to go in towards. 6mo. Doing somewhat of a similar thing, keeping Temi certainly busy. If they get rid of Temi, then everything gets open, and that's what Mert's plan is. That's his plan of attack. If he can go on this kind of left side of it, he's got information they're maybe more moving away from this, and yeah, they're having success. CrowCrowd aren't able to be so decisive on this. They're still getting kills, but there's Mert's position paying dividends. GamerLegion
are slowly moving onto this fight as well. So if it drags out any longer, they're going to be on there to sweep up the pieces. And FaZe again. N47 just getting involved in everything from their hillside compound. Buster, oh no. He's just caught Fex off guard. He was trying to creep up on this fight, and that's give the position away. Timmy sees it down low. It will be Mitraleius that picks it up there. And now Timmy, the last man for CrowCrowd. Mitraleius, the last man holding off at the moment because they're about to get their third member back on their feet as Mert gets ABeautflDeath back up.
Yeah, this Eastern fight's a bit rough, and it feels like no matter whoever wins it, they're kind of running into, not a dead end necessarily, they can swing north, they don't know that yet, of course, but the issue then becomes, you know, do they just start fighting for the kills here? What do they do in this scenario? Because you've got ENCE just waiting off in the wings. They're so close to be able to see these players running over the hillside.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much dead as soon as they make themselves visible. Let's have a quick peek. This was the initial Car 98 shot. Love to see it.
I hit those every day.
Of course, of course.
It's like watching a demo.
Get some edgy music on there.
That's the one.
You get your demo going.
Bit of Linkin Park.
By the way, Timmy has just took 2 of them out. So while we were looking at his teammates doing some work, Timmy has just swept out 2 DA members. Mitraleius now the last man standing. Mac and Dark holding them all at bay behind that building. This is not going well. I mean, this is not going well for any of them at the moment.
No, this is one of those battles where they're probably all going to fall, so it's like, I don't want to just die before you. So for now, CrowCrowd goes down. That's a 14th place. Bit disappointing for them there. But then you look at GamerLegion, you look at DA, they're not in much better positions. So all that aside, there goes the remainder of DA. Bit of a trade back and forth between Reciprocity, but there you've got the Desperados coming in. They're slightly further up north on the riverbed that runs up, north of the Knights, just above the bridge. So a bit of a tricky spot actually for the Knights. They're very pinned in here. It's actually quite open. They do have a little bit of a dip by the bridge, but beyond that, you have Reciprocity waiting in a bit of a split themselves. That should be a revive coming in, and that's the other option where the Desperados wait.
This is a horrible circle. This is so bad. So many teams almost having to send it. TSM are going into nip. Gustav's about to die in the kill feed any second. As we see the Knights also being finished off by Desperado. Not really anywhere for them to go, unfortunately. Michael does take VAR down. So Gustav actually didn't get taken down. I don't know how the hell he got out of that one.
Sure. There we go.
I'm safe under my bridge. I'm the troll.
TSM are coming down south. So they've moved away from Na'Vi. They knew where Na'Vi was. They're working down south into the kind of unknown somewhat. NIP are here. This is a scary hillside to be playing on. You have FaZe not too far off. You have Reciprocity with Vision. And the Desperados are about to go north. This western side is about to explode.
VAR just got back on his feet, but instantly goes down. N47 trying to sweep up and pick up everything they can as GamerLegion will fall. DA had also gone as well while that was all playing out. Fuzzface and co is the last man holding off. The rest of FaZe, look at this, they've moved center point on the edge of Quarry. G2 themselves were trying to move underneath Quarry. Got Chris here, he's about to go commando. Let's see what he can do. Straight in the back, gets himself an easy knock, swings around, gets a second. The Beast is delivering once again. Oh my word, nearly made it count. Look at mxey's health. Any little bit of support there. Maybe even if I had a barrel, that could have been done even more. Who knows?
Oh, Chris.
Jesus. This guy's good.
Scary man, isn't he? No matter what happens with G2, it's just like you put CrZZ in those situations, there's a world in which you see it working out. TSM scrapped their southern plans. They saw those fights happening and they decided, let's go back to what we know, Na'Vi. But that's a scary beast to play against. They're up now, they're in. But Na'Vi still hold the line. Senya and Rory in a bit of a battle for positioning to allow for those off angles, and Rory's lost it. Now TSM are in a bit of a dangerous scenario. They're in a dangerous position. They do not have the advantage. Can they fight through it?
Well, Desperado's just got smashed by NIP as well down south. That's just not too far from this one. Little underhand nade maybe over that rock. Could catch himself a double. Let's see where it went. I think it went too far. Don't know if they realize how close these players are. Gustav down to nothing. Aitzy holding the line with the spray. Trying to work it out. Michael was tossing a nade out, just saw there. Didn't hear it roll by though. And a little underhand. Is that going to be the smoke the doorway? I think it will be, just to keep themselves the cover they need.
A little bit of room to work. Now they can peek out a little bit braver, build into it. FaZe are getting curious though. I'm looking at ubah starting to linger a little closer, and he's getting some fire from Na'Vi. Aitzy there, not shy to join in.
He got a level 3 gear there, so he's backed away. N47 and ENCE are about to connect as well. That's over on the east side of the circle while we watch this western battle. Now they look to be backing away from this one. They're going to figure out they're going to have to move into Quarry, which is dangerous territory. Raise Your Edge are also in a similar spot. They have to now go down into Quarry or through N47. N47 themselves, they're going to have to start moving in off the edge from their compound because ENCE have beat them to it.
Yeah, Coldament are going to find NELLOZ, and that was the safety net for Yannis. He was trying to move up to that next position, maybe try and get into safety, but now Na'Vi are getting into the fight because he Raise Your Edge use their vehicles. Very quietly, of course. Beautiful ninja play from miikaz.
Stealth car.
Makes his way in, going to pull up. He's fine. They've kind of just leapfrogged ahead. That was actually quite nice from miikaz. A brave play, but maybe if the timing's right, they could then lock out N47.
He's like a ninja. You just can't hear him. He's got these stealthy footsteps. Headshot from Aitzy. That does the job. Coldament goes down. Na'Vi, though, instantly getting return fire. SIMSY bleeds out in the blue. And don't forget, on Sanhok, the blue moves so bleeding quick on you. So if you're not quick to react to these circles, it will catch you off guard. Reciprocity kind of sending it. They've got 4 inside. They've come out of the cave. The little troglodytes have managed to make their way through. N47 continuing to move. They are just about inside the circle, and they're well aware of miikaz's position. Where's that nade going, Paige?
No one knows,
It's
neither
just
does
like,
Paige. Gonna fall off this, maybe hoping it was a smoke, and he just was like, oh, wait, no, actually it's not. SKUIJKE, hello, T-Bone, Vasku say goodbye, and N47 waited too long. They could have moved out earlier, they could have tried to maybe make a play, but SKUIJKE does go down. That was from Reciprocity, so maybe room for some sort of recovery for N47, but it's not good. That's 40 seconds, it's not a lot of time.
They're going to get the revives off, but I don't know. Like you say, with those double revives, it's going to be very hard. It pulls away, and with Na'Vi, everybody's going to sweep up the edge of the quarry now because the circle's shifted south. FaZe Clan are loving life right now. First picks up Rustanmar. TRYFFELI is in the smoke, but you can see Reciprocity are peppering his position as they hold the south edge of the circle. miikaz continuing to be a little pest in there, isn't he? Takes Senya down.
Oh, there's one more close by, though. miikaz has no idea. He's checking for it. I love this close quarter fighting. Nice old shoulder peek, just gets outdone. Aitzy, so good. You feel if that like headshot came through, Aitzy could have gone down. It was only level 1, and Paige jumps in, sees there's some weakness, sees there's a way forward, and they've got themselves back to, I think, 3 standing in 47. Yep.
Oh, but they're getting hit from the side once again. Reciprocity kind of have the angle on them at the moment. As soon as they peek out of this rock, and they're not safe at the moment, they need to really be the other side of this wall to try and trickle in, but it is PUBG that's keeping them away. The saving grace is that TRYFFELI there was another one that had an angle on them. That opens up a chance for N47 to creep closer. They're not going to be able to belly crawl this. It's not. They're not quick enough.
Time.
You have to run with this blue.
Yeah, and look who's waiting. Whether it be PUBG, whether it be FaZe, it's going to be someone. The trades are not good enough. Vasku, I think, is the only one standing now. They've lost out on all of their numbers, and he's the only man standing really from that quarry fight.
So TSM with 3 up, FaZe with 3 up, Reciprocity with 3 up, and Vasku the last man for N47. Vasku's just about creeping on inside. TSM up in the northwest. FaZe, they've got a really wide spread, and it's maybe paying off here. Fuzzface still on the anchor. Reciprocity, they have a great spot here. And that's that's a nice nade.
And that's the thing. You want to look at what Fuzzface is doing. He's allowing these other two players to just kind of be off the leash. They can go out, take the fights they want. They have safety. Now, Reciprocity, if they overstep, can punish them. That's the only threat to them right now. But Reciprocity themselves need to be somewhat careful. And this is almost a cave finish. It could have been fun. But Fuzzface finds Iroh. So TSM are now dwindling in numbers. N47 just went down. I don't know if Vazku just...
No, look how fast the circle moves.
Yeah.
It's just it catches all the players off guard. After they've been playing Miramar and Erangel, they're used to the slower pace. They've really got to get used to just how quick it moves on this map. Fuzz will take Michael down. TSM getting picked apart as they come down from the blue. Gustav, the last man standing for them. So it is going to be 3 FaZe versus 3 Reciprocity. Reciprocity all in the same spot. I don't really know where ubah and mxey can go from here, though.
In the cave. No, there's no cave play. And I would say I wasn't so fond of Reciprocity's play, but they actually have some decent angles on 2 of them. But the problem is Fuzzface, again, he is putting in so much work right now. It doesn't matter if he gets loads of kills or not. His positioning alone is going to probably win FaZe this game.
They have no angle
Udyr,
on Fuzz at all. Udyr. They have no position. Look, Fuzz is going to come around. He's buying all the time. The rest of the team are just delaying. Fuzz is about to stab them in the back. There's only 2 there. They would have just reported they've just hit Scoom. Here comes Fuzzface for the win. Straight over the top. 1 down. Looking for Udyr. Trying to find his last man. Monkey's the man to be deliver, but no. Fuzzface will get him down. And it was a simple finish in the end for FaZe Clan. The 2 boys, Aitzy and ubah, doing what they could to distract for the big man to come from behind.
Just well played. A well-rounded game, smart positioning. And yeah, they had good circle position. They were just north of cave, but the way they put Fuzzface as that anchor point to then work around, he provided so much map control that was so hard for them to play up against.
Well, I think we better get Sam down there fast. It looked like they wanted to move. They wanted to get down there. Let's try grab them before they leave.
Not leaving. They're going to chat to us now. FaZe Clan takes the chicken dinner. Fuzzface, let's chat about the end of that game, towards the end. The 2-1 split's kind of risky, but seems to pay off. What was the thinking behind that?
I mean, from the start it was supposed to be a 2-2 split. But yeah.
I was trying to be nice, man. I wasn't going to say anything.
We just want to keep like as much space as possible, and sometimes on Sanhok it's really hard to push the compound, so you can kind of grab more space in some scenarios.
Let's talk a little bit about last week, where you chatted to my friend Paula, and you were all saying it's FaZe Day every day. What happened yesterday?
It was one of the off days, you know. Everyone has those days. Yeah.
So is it back to FaZe Day every day?
Yeah, now we're back.
Final question. Who's the team that you're most concerned about here in the arena?
No one.
There we go. No one. FaZe is not worried. They are fighting to stay on top here. Let's head back to the desk.
FaZe and Fuzzface give the big kapow over to Reciprocity there at the very end here for Sanhok. A bit more of a kind of exciting circle when it came to how it was playing out from circle to circle. I didn't quite expect it to be heading down towards where Quarry and Cave were, but that's how these things play out, boys. Froz, Avenger, gentlemen, I think you were probably a little bit surprised with the circles as well and how they kind of developed.
Yeah, so the thing is, we don't see a lot of circles on the south side of the core itself. It's because of the land region, how the shape of the island is down there.
Yeah.
Now, we did get a circle down there, and people started adapting straight away. We saw FaZe Clan taking a lot of ground there, taking that 2-2 split, or 2-2 split.
Yeah.
You know?
I like the banner in the interview as well, throwing a little bit of shade.
It was supposed to be.
It's supposed to be a 2-2 split, and he just starts laughing. I like that. It's very nice to see that, but it worked out.
Yeah.
They took more space than I would expect that they would be allowed to. Managing to keep 3 guys alive this late also talks to how kind of difficult and different that this circle was.
No, definitely so. Before we take a look at the highlights of here, of course, we do have Samsung joining us as one of our title sponsors for PEL Phase 3. So a big thank you to them, and a big thank you to them providing us the monitors, the 27, I can't actually even remember what it's called.
27 RG5C, something like
you're
that?
close.
240 hertz.
No, it's the C27 RG5. There you go.
That's your song.
I almost forgot my own song there for a moment. That's how I remember things. C27 RG5. Okay, so let's
Spider-Man.
take a look at good old Spider-Man.
Well,
If it was a Finnish gentleman from the north. And let's take a look at the highlights here, boys. What are your thoughts?
Overall, fighting around Curry is super interesting, and it kept going south here like this. Liquid and TSM fighting this early also is kind of surprising, but it was phase 2. They knew where the circle was going to go after that.
And nothing else happened in this game. Is that what you're telling me?
No. I just didn't want to be the only one saying stuff, you know. No, but overall, obviously, FaZe Clan is looting Painang, one of the strongest positions, but they managed still to get into a position earlier than most of the guys that had better options to do so. This is one of the endings where it ends. On the southeastern part, I was expecting ENCE to grab more space than they did, considering they are looting in the docks area, but they didn't manage to do so, unfortunately.
well, something that was interesting was teams like Glacier Edge. We see them here on the side of Corey and Navi on the other side. Now, we know it's going to shrink away from Corey because of the water and stuff, but the teams, they still have to play there. They want to play from there. They want to move in with the circle. The thing is, though, that you're basically crippling yourself because the teams will know, all right, either they come from inside the quarry or from the side of it. So the teams will expect you to be there, and it's going to be much harder to move in the further you wait.
They almost escaped the interview there for a moment, but they are not to be there to sit in their chairs, sit in those beautiful DX racers here, who are also one of our sponsors to get things going. 9th through 16th place, unfortunately, for 3 teams, Knights, Legion, and Liquid. 0 points for them. Liquid goes from 1st to 16th. Sam, what have you done? It's all your fault.
She jinxed them.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's take a look at 1 through 8 as well, up towards the top. 20 points coming in for FaZe Clan Reciprocity. 15-pointer Roonies and N47. 11-pointer Scoonies.
So one thing to take away from this, FaZe Clan obviously winning the game, but you also had them in the last game getting the 2nd place with 7 kills.
Yeah.
Same thing with Reciprocity. Last game, 3rd place, 5 kills. They're racking up a lot of points here now. They're trying to get ahead of the other teams.
Did you just say they're wrecking up a lot of points?
Racking.
Oh, okay. I would have liked
I would have
wrecking.
loved the wrecking of a lot of points.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're also our 4th team so far in this week with with 8 games so far to go or done. So they're actually in the top, and they're trying to hunt down to get into the top 8, to get into the prize money, and potentially, if they continue this, trying to be one of the contestants for our PTC spots.
Not that much damage coming out from FaZe relative to Reciprocity here when it comes to the overall kills, but efficiency.
Nearly a 1-to-1 ratio, if you may.
A 1 to 100 ratio of the,
no.
of the overall body of a
One
kill.
kill, one-
Yeah.
One of the big reasons they didn't get too much damage from this game was because they had that 2-2 split, and not too many teams were on the south side. The most of them were playing on the north side and were fighting on the north side. So when it came down to the end game, that's when they racked up all the damage, more or less.
Definitely so. Very impressive by FaZe Clan. Especially, I really liked Fuzzface's extra little peek around. Really did catch Reciprocity off guard. Reciprocity was already in a bad situation anyway, but that was kind of the final nail in the
And
coffin.
he could see with the circle how it kind of shaped out.
Yeah,
He knew
yeah.
that they were already there. They should have moved earlier. They were just trying to get
Yep.
the kills, making sure that the other guys didn't come in, but they must have been aware that there was another guy somewhere. They should have sent 2 guys or 1 guy off to begin to take space in the new circle a lot earlier.
Second to last circle, at least, they should have moved at least 2 guys from the high ground, moving them down to the west side, trying to take over the compound where Fuzzface was. At least take the houses on the south side, and then you work your way towards the north side houses of the road there, because that's your entrance into the circle, if anything.
There's a bit of tunnel vision going on there, trying to secure the 2 kills that are out there, but like if you don't have a foot inside the next circle,
Yep.
you need to start smoking your way. You need to start having 1 guy making decisions on what's going to be the next kind of step to happen there.
I mean, of course, they did get the circle towards them, but at the same time, they still need to cross that road later on. Even in the last circle, they will need to cross that road. And you want to do that as soon as possible. The later you do it, the more teams will be focusing on you.
Teams had to be a little bit scared of that circle in general, right? Because there were other challenges that could have potentially presented themselves. Quarry being in it for as long as it was, even Cave being in it for as long as it was. They were hoping for a Cave finish, but that's scary to even think about, the kind of like the verticality of the situation, I suppose.
Well, most teams won't opt to go into the cave
Right,
because
it's dangerous.
It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
There's too many angles in there. People can be hiding anywhere.
Yeah,
At the
you're
same
going to
time,
bottleneck yourself if you go in.
yeah,
Exactly,
at
yeah.
the same time, what you will find in there is probably a solo, maybe a duo, if anything. So it's not really worth the risk.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, gentlemen. Well, of course, that is it. Our game Coming up next is the magical number here at PEL Phase 3. That's going to be exciting stuff as we go to that in a few moments' time. But before we do that, let's head over to hear from some of our teams as to what they think when it comes to surviving in a situation. Something.